part dose of twin flame trauma responses and just trauma responses in general. Many of you have trauma in your story, whether it's like extreme trauma or it's, low level trauma. And I say low level, but trauma's trauma. We have these responses to it, the way we react to it, the way our minds react to it, the way our beliefs are created from the trauma really then begin to create our lives. So if we're left, we're abandoned by someone, abandoned by a parent, the lies that can come in, the things that we could believe about the world, the things that we believe about God, right? Because your parents are like the first version of like Mother God, Father God. So if your father walks out on you, how would you trust God? How would you trust men? How would you trust father figure or any kind of figure that is like authoritative in your life? You are going to have a belief system that is then going to turn into the behavioral aspect, which creates our reality. Every choice we make creates our reality. And so what we're doing here and why I'm here talking to you is this is like the first step is, can we identify, come on now. Can we identify what happens after we get triggered, right? You might want to fight. You might want to run. You might want to shut down. You might blow up everything. You might sabotage everything. You might go into hiding and not come out. You might lose your job. You might get really, really sick. I have seen people not have addiction issues, right? Like they'll have like a family that has addiction issues, but I've seen them actually start creating sickness within their body to deal with life. Because if I am sick, then I do not have to be responsible. How many of you could say in the comments know what I'm talking about? You've probably made yourself sick for that interview. You probably made yourself sick not to show up for something that really felt important to you. You might have broken a bone in your leg or your toe or your finger or your face when something really important was in front of you. I've been there. I've broken toes. I've broken legs. I broke my nose. I'm talking from experience, and I've seen people. And all we're doing right now, right, because we're not doing deep work, all we're doing right now is starting to take an inventory of like, oh shit, yeah. When my twin's not paying attention to me, I start wanting to get their attention. So then I act out and I do things I know they don't like. I might be clean and sober for a while, but because they're pissing me off, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna get their attention. How many of you know that one? And I know a few of you that do that too, because you told me. That was my story in the past. I did that in the past. I got attention. I remember I was like, if you're not going to give me attention and love for doing good, because like I would get a little bit of attention for doing good. I was like, oh, Nicole's she's so smart. It was like, a given. They're like, oh, Nicole's so bright. She's doing okay. And then it was like, I do bad things. Everyone's just like not paying any mind to me, ignoring me, and even maybe coming down on me. So I was like sitting there and I'm like, how do I get their attention? I get triggered. I'm like, how can I started just blowing up shit. I started blowing up me. I started harming me. And I was like, if I harm Nicole, I get everybody's attention that loves me. How many of you put in the comments know what I'm talking about or have done this? Do something really crazy to get your twins' attention because they're MIA. I'm going to hurt myself, or I'm going to do this. Now, this is really, I'm not joking about this part. This part, I have so much compassion and love for. This is not, to harm oneself to get others' attention is very scary. It's very painful. There's so much shame. All right, this specific one, I wasn't even going to go here. I guess the Spirit's just like, hey, this is what needs to be said. But, for all of you that are underneath this umbrella, a little might need to forgive yourself. All right, this is a coping mechanism. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a coping mechanism. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to break. All right, it's really ingrained and it works. It works. It just works. Right? If we get on social media and we're like, hey, I don't want to be here anymore, and I'm just like drinking myself to death, or I'm doing this, or you're talking to your mom and you're just like blowing up my life, just quit my job, you're going to get everybody's attention, right? So I see you. And know that there's another way, right? I'm bringing this up to you because there's other ways to respond, right? As we begin to see what we've created, we can then start to stop ourselves for a moment, catch it, catch that motherfucker, catch it. They're gonna flag the video, like just beep it out. You're able to catch it, so that you just are like, oh, I'm doing it again. Maybe sometimes you'll catch it right after, right? In hindsight, right? The key is to go from like catching it from hindsight to seeing it, to going, oh my God, every time I'm scared, I fight with everyone. Every time I'm scared, I run. Every time I'm scared, I cut my twin off. Every time I'm scared, I attack. Every time I'm scared, I get paralyzed. Every time I get triggered, I freaking get sick. Catching, just seeing, this is inventory, just taking an inventory. Just taking an inventory, because when we begin to do that, we give space. We make a way. To do something very different. To actually share how we feel. I'm scared. Hey, that hurt me. That you weren't paying any mind to what I was saying. That hurt me, to your twin flame. They're like, hey, I'm sitting here telling you I'm suffering, and you're just like on your phone and you're not paying any mind to me. Hey, it hurt me that you didn't show up for that thing you said you would show up for. And then sometimes your other half isn't going to show up at all. They're not even going to let you have that conversation with them. So then maybe the next thing that you do is, instead of blowing your life up, or instead of running, instead of fighting, you call a friend and you're like, I'm hurting. I'm not doing well. And you allow yourself to emote. Right? For some of you, there's so much stuff going on within you that you actually need mentors, right? When I was stricken, I needed mentors. Guess when else I needed mentors? As my business was growing. And guess when I needed mentors? When my life got really hard, as my business was growing. And guess what I have right now? I have multiple mentors in different areas of my life that I want to be supported in, right? So there's connection that needs to happen. There's new pathways that are created when we do these different things in the brain. And then we get to we get to have control of our response, even when we're triggered. And we get to create something very, very new. Because I understand that when you're with your beloved, specifically, oh, snap, they can get to you. Woo! Oh! I know Dove's not here right now. We had an emergency in Dove's family, and she will be back soon. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, that she's coming back, and she's taking care. I just love that she's taking care of herself, her heart, her family, being very present with what's going on. Something happened with her mom. I'm definitely going to have Dove come up and share that with you guys soon. Some of you already know your prayers have been amazing. But Dove would agree that we trigger each other in ways that no one could trigger us, because of the love that we have. And so when you love in the first video, right, part 1, if you haven't seen part 1, it was just like a minute video. I was talking about like unconditional love. When it's lacking, that's where the trigger comes in, right? That's where trauma is, when there's the unconditional love isn't there, right? The abandonment, the jealousy, the greed, right? The abuse, the verbal abuse, right? The attack, the hatred all over you, right? Like people saying shit to you, like all of that stuff is like a lack of unconditional love. So when we are experiencing that with our twin flame, it hurts. It triggers us in a way where all the trauma that we've ever had, even if it's not the same friggin' trauma, the cells start going, I'm not safe. And there's a lot of times that you don't feel safe with your partner because they have so much impact on you because you love them so much. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. If you love this, please share, please subscribe. Know that Dov and I are coming back. Twin Flames, we got you. We're coming back hardcore. We've been studying and we've been growing and we've been integrating and we've been doing work and we've been expanding and we've been working with really freaking amazing leaders, amazing celebrities, people that have a voice and a platform. So we've been in the background doing it, making sure that the ripple effects going out. But I promise you, because I know when we first started a business, my face was up in your face quite frequently, but this last year really needed to take care of some things like the alchemy and the Arcturian and me being in the background, doing our thing, and growing exponentially as you are growing. I know you guys are growing. We're all sending through love, by love, all about that love and connection with our Creator. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.